It hides right in plain sight. Right there in middle-class America, just, masquerading as success. Today, we're unpacking the phenomenon known as the golden handcuffs of a median salary. The source material we're analyzing today hits on something incredibly profound: how reaching a certain level of financial comfort can actually become the exact thing that stops you from achieving true financial independence. It's a hidden barrier, a velvet trap, really, and I guarantee that once you see the mechanics of it mapped out today, you won't be able to unsee it. So let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. $50,000. It's a nice, solid number, right? For a lot of people in the US, hitting this mark feels like you finally arrived. You can pay your rent, you can keep the lights on, and hey, maybe you can even go out to dinner on the weekends without having to anxiously check your bank balance first. It is the quintessential middle-class milestone. But here is the secret that our analysis points us toward. This specific number, or really whatever number represents just enough for you, acts as a massive, hidden psychological barrier. It's comfortable enough to keep you satisfied on a daily basis, but let's be real, it is absolutely not large enough to actually build true freedom or generational wealth.
Which leads us directly to a rather provocative question I want to ask you. Is your comfort zone actually a trap? I want you to really think about this as we go through this explainer. Because when you have just enough money to be reasonably comfortable, your brain, well, it actually stops looking for the exits. You aren't starving, so you aren't desperate enough to hustle, innovate, or take some wild leap. But you also aren't rich enough to be truly free from the daily grind. You're just suspended in this middle ground. It's a brilliant, terrible illusion of safety that actually locks you into a cycle of permanent dependency.
Section 1. The $50,000 Salary Trap. See, when you're just starting out, hitting 50 grand is the ultimate goal. But once you arrive, the landscape fundamentally changes because comfort secretly disincentivizes your ambition. There's this deep underlying psychological tension happening in your brain. Think about it. When you're totally broke, you've got nothing to lose, so you're willing to take risks. When you're extremely wealthy, you have an ironclad safety net, so you can afford to take massive risks. But when you're earning $50,000, you have exactly just enough to lose. The very comfort you worked so incredibly hard to achieve actively works against your drive to push for real financial growth. Your ambition literally gets smothered by a reasonably nice apartment and, a few streaming subscriptions.
Section 2. What are golden handcuffs? A steady, comfortable paycheck preventing a worker from taking risks to improve their situation. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the definition has shifted. Historically, when we said golden handcuffs, we meant a millionaire CEO getting stock options that vest over a 10-year period, literally forcing them to stay at a corporation. But today, it's an everyday middle-class reality. Your golden handcuffs aren't millions in unvested stock, they're your employer-sponsored health insurance, a steady biweekly direct deposit, and a matched 401k. They're shiny, they're super comfortable, but make no mistake, they are still handcuffs keeping you glued to your desk. Section 3. Security versus ambition. This right here is the core psychological conflict we all face. On one side, you have the guaranteed paycheck, predictable, safe, reliable. On the other side, striving for more, high risk, high reward. From an evolutionary standpoint, your brain absolutely loves the predictability of that biweekly deposit. To your brain, predictability means survival and safety. But to get to the next level, say starting your own business or switching to a purely commission-based role with a much higher ceiling, you have to sacrifice that guaranteed safety net. And human beings are biologically hardwired to hate sacrificing a guaranteed resource.
Let's move to and see how this builds into an insidious process called lifestyle creep. It's a three-step trap. First, you get the $50,000 raise. You feel amazing. You've earned a reward, right? So what do? Step 2, you upgrade your life. Maybe you lease a slightly nicer car, you move to an apartment with an extra bedroom, or maybe into a slightly better zip code. And then, step 3, suddenly the handcuffs lock. Your $50,000 salary isn't a comfortable surplus anymore, it's a strict, unforgiving baseline. Every single new expense tightens the trap. You can no longer afford to take a temporary pay cut to learn a new, more lucrative skill because, well, that new car payment is due on the 1st of every month. The trap springs shut.
Section 4. Why Nobody Escapes.
Here's the exact quote anchoring our source material. The $50,000 salary trap, nobody escapes. So the crucial point is the sheer deterministic gravity of this financial phenomenon. It really pulls you in like a black hole. The author says nobody escapes because the psychological friction required to break this cycle goes against all of our natural survival instincts. It genuinely truly feels safer to stay slightly miserable but financially comfortable than to risk it all for the chance of true independence.
The fear of losing what you have prevents reaching for what you want.
In behavioral economics, this is a well-documented concept called loss aversion. To put it simply, the psychological pain of losing $10 is twice as powerful as the joy of gaining $10. So the anxiety of risking your comfortable $50,000 lifestyle completely paralyzes you. You look at the potential of a $100,000 life, but all your brain allows you to focus on is the terrifying possibility of failing and ending up with absolutely zero. This fear acts as an invisible, impenetrable wall, totally blocking your path to upward mobility.
Section 5. Breaking the middle-class plateau.
And this brilliantly illustrates the escape plan. While it feels like nobody escapes, the truth is nobody escapes by accident. You need a deliberate strategy. You must acknowledge the comfort trap, reverse your lifestyle creep, prioritize your ambition, and take calculated career risks. To escape, you have to actively lower your overhead. Trade in that new car for a used one. Downsize your apartment. Once your basic living expenses drop, that $50,000 salary isn't a set of handcuffs anymore. It becomes a massive stepping stone. You've literally bought back your ability to take a risk, allowing you to prioritize your long-term ambition over a false sense of short-term security.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this lingering, provocative thought. Are you working for your salary, or is your salary actually working against you? Are those comfortable, predictable, bi-weekly deposits funding your future freedom, or are they just polishing your golden handcuffs? Take a hard, honest look at your own financial reality this week. Evaluate your comfort zone. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and whatever you do, don't let comfort become the enemy of your true potential.